Chronically Jackie, and this is my service dog Harlow. As a person who battles multiple chronic illnesses, I'm often asked, how do you stay so positive? My positive thinking seems to be a part of who I am, and I use it to my advantage as often as possible. But after being asked that question quite a few times, I've come to realize there are a few things I do that contribute to my positivity. I'm going to share my personal practices for remaining positive in the face of adversity. It may not work for everyone, and in no way do I intend to put anyone down who may be struggling with their outlook, because emotions of all kinds are a natural part of life. But maybe I can help someone else by sharing what helps me. In the description, you'll find a lot of helpful resources and links to other videos I've made. And there's a table of contents. So if you want to go to a specific section, the table of contents will take you straight to it. I know staying positive isn't always easy, and it's unrealistic to never feel negative emotions. At times, I get sad and frustrated and discouraged, but striving for a positive outlook is what helps me keep moving forward, and maybe this video will help you do the same. So let's get started. Focus on the positives, celebrate, and be grateful. 3 things that are very important to me. It may sound like simple advice, but it's not so simple to carry through, because it's true. Life with chronic illness can be filled with many negatives. I'm not saying they don't exist. What I am saying is that I choose to focus on the positives rather than letting the negatives overshadow me. I believe that every situation can have at least one positive factor, no matter how minor it might be. Even on my scariest, hardest days, I strive to reflect on the good that occurred. If you need to, brainstorm. Think of all the possible positive spin-offs that can come from a less than ideal situation. Focusing on the positives is something that I've practiced heavily since I really began my chronic illness journey. And I think it's because having the fear and frustration and sorrow totally consume me was more terrifying than my illnesses themselves. Because I know that I can live a happy life and be a chronic illness warrior. These 2 things can coincide. So I strive for that positive outlook. It's not always easy, but the more I did it, the easier it became, and the happier I was and still am. Celebrating is also so important to me. I'm not talking about throwing a huge party for every little success, but take the time to acknowledge them. Life is already hard, and chronic illnesses just further complicate things. Even the simplest of tasks can become daunting on bad health days. So don't neglect your hard work. Take the time to celebrate those victories and acknowledge them. Did you accomplish anything on your to-do list today? Celebrate. Only managed to check 1 item off? Still great. Didn't get anything done? No worries. Were you struggling to get out of bed today and eventually put yourself together? Focus on that. And if today is one of those days where you weren't able to get out of bed, you made it to the end of the day, and that's always worth celebrating. Remember that as chronic illness warriors, everything we accomplish is done while in a body that is constantly working against us, and that definitely means something. I don't put myself down for what I didn't accomplish in a day. Instead, I focus on what I did do and the fact that I gave it my best effort. I focus on celebrating even the smallest of victories. Thankfulness also helps me remain positive. Being grateful for what I do have helps me feel less upset about what I don't have. I don't always have the ability to walk, but I'm thankful for tools that help with my mobility. I don't have the ability to stop my life-threatening angioedema attacks, but I'm thankful for medications that keep me alive. Instead of focusing on what I don't have, what I cannot do, and what isn't fair, I choose to focus on what I do have, what I can do, and the blessings bestowed upon me. Healthy perspective. To me, this means having a firm understanding on what I can and cannot change. One thing that comes with chronic illness is a lack of control. How will I feel when I wake up in the morning? Will I be able to make it to dinner with friends? Is this new medication going to give me the relief I really need? Lack of control over our chronic illnesses can be very frustrating. And when we can't follow through on plans because of symptoms acting up, or we do less than ideal health-wise, we can become discouraged. Strongly establishing the difference between what I can and cannot control has greatly helped me. Assuming I'm doing all I can for my health, keeping up with treatment plans and whatnot, I know I can't control how much pain I'm going to be in when I wake up in the morning. I cannot control what symptoms I will experience and how severe they will be on any given day. I cannot control when I will be in a flare and when I'll be having a good health day. And that's okay, because that is life with chronic illness. After differentiating between what I can and cannot control, I then focus on what I can do. I may not be able to walk through Disney, but I can still enjoy it from a wheelchair. I may not have 100% perfect health, but I can follow treatment protocols to keep my body as functional as possible. I may not be able to control when I'm in a flare or I'm going to have a good health day, but when I'm in a flare, I can allow my body to rest so it can recuperate, and when I'm having a good health day, I can take advantage of that relief. Life with chronic illness is hard, and we're not going to win every battle. That's okay. It's unrealistic to think we will win every battle, but there are battles we will succeed in, and that is what we can focus on and celebrate. I do not feel guilty for things that are out of my control. Why should I? Because nothing I can do will alter it. It's literally out of my control. Letting go of misplaced guilt will relieve a huge burden. My chronic illnesses already give me enough trouble. I don't need to add to the grief with guilt that really isn't warranted. Keeping a healthy perspective also means knowing my realistic abilities. I know there is a limit as to how many things I can accomplish in one day. I know that limit may vary based on how I'm feeling. I know there are things I cannot do at all, and that's okay. I know there are other things I can do with help, and there are things that I can do very well on my own. Setting realistic goals sets me up for success, rather than being disappointed with myself for not accomplishing an impossible task. When I accomplish these realistic goals, I feel productive, and productivity is one sure way to lift my spirits. If I'm feeling discouraged or held back by my health, reaching a set goal always makes me feel more empowered. But of course, I dream big. I do have those larger goals that seem too far out of reach right now, but they motivate me to work hard and keep moving forward in order to get to where I want to be. Embrace your reality. Acceptance is a big part of my happiness. Yes, I'm always striving to improve my health in any way possible, finding answers, sticking to treatment protocols, finding better treatment plans as the nature of my illnesses change over time, but I've come to terms with the fact that this is my life now. My reality entails chronic illness. I can't ignore it, and I can't change it, so I choose to embrace it. Ignoring it would only hinder me. My health could spiral dangerously out of control if I didn't work to keep a handle on it. So by embracing the fact that, yes, chronic illness is present in my life, then I can do everything in my power to make the best of it. At the same time, chronic illness is only a part of my life. Yes, it demands a lot of time and effort and attention, but it's still only a part of me. There are many other wonderful things in my life that have nothing to do with my health, and that's also a part of my reality. It's not all just chronic illness. There is so much more to life as well. Part of embracing my reality also means embracing my reality, not the one I had before my chronic illnesses progressed, not the one of my friend or neighbor or family member, none other than my current reality. That just means that I have struggles unique to me, and I can't compare my successes and setbacks to someone else who has a completely different story, and vice versa. Even if we share the same diagnosis, we will not have the exact same path because each chronic illness journey is very individual to the warrior. Comparing myself to others would only be a huge disservice to all the effort I've already put forward. That also means not being hard on myself for not being able to accomplish things I used to be able to do, because chronic illnesses can change over time. They can progress, and the sooner I learn to embrace my current reality, the happier I was. But at the same time, occasionally I'll find that I can do things now that I couldn't before. It can go both ways because chronic illnesses don't only get worse, sometimes they stay the same. Sometimes you're in a flare that's temporary, and when you find yourself in a flare, embrace your reality for that flare. And sometimes chronic illnesses can improve. So it is what it is. My life is my life. There may be some things I can't change that I dislike about it, but there are also things I love that I would never change. Everyone has good and bad in their life. I just strive to make the best out of what I have. My husband likes to say, if you can't change your situation, change your attitude. I like this advice because there are a lot of things I can't change. So I like to focus on the things I have more control of, like my perspective. Life is a certain percentage of what happens to you, and the rest is how you react to it. My chronic illnesses are something that happened to me. I had no way to prevent it, and I have no way to change it. But I can choose to use them to my advantage, to utilize them as motivators to live my life to the fullest and make every moment meaningful. Acceptance is a powerful tool. Instead of wishing for things to be the way they are not, I'm choosing to embrace my reality, and that's definitely contributing to my happiness. Feel all your emotions. I've said it before, chronic illness is hard. You won't win every battle, and that's totally okay. But what happens when you don't win that battle? Sometimes I can brush it off, but other times it isn't that easy. Living life in a body that is constantly working against you can be frustrating, discouraging, exhausting, and so much more. I don't remain in these emotions, but it would be unwise to completely shut them out. When I need to, I let the frustration in. I cry, I shout, it's not fair, because it isn't fair. Having chronic illnesses can really suck at times. Everyone eventually needs a moment to themselves to just be whatever. Sad, mad, overwhelmed. It's okay. Breaking down is not a sign of failure, but rather a sign of being human. When these moments happen, I allow the emotions in. I feel what I need to feel. It's healthy. It's actually part of how I cope with my chronic illnesses. But then I find what makes me happy. It can be as simple as snuggling with my pup, or maybe an impromptu trip to go get my favorite ice cream, or maybe just spending some time with a loved one. Find that one thing that will lift your spirits. I'm not saying it'll fix everything, but once you start going in the right direction, it'll be easier to keep moving forward. Something else that helps me is always having something to look forward to. It doesn't need to be a big ordeal, but still something that excites me. Maybe I'm treating myself to a pedicure this weekend, maybe a date night with my husband, or just dedicating special time to binge watch my new favorite series on Netflix. Having something to look forward to helps keep me motivated, and it helps me move forward even when things become hard. Another thing that makes me happy and helps motivate me is my faith. I'm a person of strong faith, and it gives me peace among the chaos of my chronic illness journey. I never try to impose my views on others, and I'm accepting of other people's religious or non-religious practices, but my faith does help me a lot in my battles, so I wanted to share. So yes, sometimes I do lose my battles, and I can't stay positive all the time, and that's totally okay. It's healthy to experience emotions of all kinds, positive and negative. Just know you are completely validated in whatever you may be feeling at any given time. To me, it doesn't matter if I slow down. Life does that to you sometimes, especially when chronic illness is involved. What's important to me is that I keep moving forward, no matter how slowly, because at the very least, I'm still headed in the right direction. Create a supportive environment. Having a good support system is crucial to me. I don't know what I'd do without my husband, my family, my friends, and Harlow, of course. I'm not saying you need a huge network, but having a few close loved ones to rely on can be really beneficial. Sometimes my loved ones don't exactly know how to help me, and that's totally okay because caring for my medical conditions can get really complicated at times. So I've found that being direct and explaining what they can do to help me works best. I'm also sure to ask for help when I need it instead of waiting for someone to offer. because my loved ones want to assist me, but they may not always know when it's appropriate, because some days I'm more independent than others. So I found that being direct in how and when my loved ones can help me works best for everyone. Support can come in many different forms. Maybe it's just helping out with household chores, or giving me assistance up the stairs, helping me take a shower that night, or just listening to me vent on a really hard day, or just going out on a fun adventure together. One thing I do really enjoy my loved ones to do with me is to accompany me to doctor's appointments, procedures, and other various things, because it's nice to have their presence, their support, and an extra set of ears to remember things I may forget. And with my loved ones in the appointment, they can learn more about my medical conditions from my physicians themselves, and they have a chance to ask their own questions to the doctor. Plus, any discussions I have with my medical team, we can all have together. And of course, I'm always sure to show my loved ones my gratitude. Now, I understand that some people may not currently have any support in their life. If that's the case, I highly recommend finding others who understand what you're going through. And one great way to do this is through support groups, either in person or online. Your local area may have in-person support groups that you don't know about yet. Ask your doctor offices and do some research of your own to find out. Facebook and other online options also have good support groups. You can find thousands of people who understand your struggle because they're facing similar challenges. Connect with others, form friendships, and you'll have a place to go for support. Of course, always exercise caution when meeting new people, either online or in person. When you have people in your life that you rely on, you can do something wonderful. You can add meaning to somebody else's life. And a sense of purpose like that definitely contributes to my happiness. As important as it is to add beneficial people to your life, I find it equally imperative to remove others who are negative. Life with chronic illness is already hard. You do not need any further complications. So if anyone is putting you down, invalidating your struggles, making you feel guilty for things that are out of your control, or just adding any undue stress, remove them from your life. Now you may be thinking, but they're my parents, my siblings, my significant other, or my best friend. Listen, I've had to remove a very close family member for an extended period of time, and it was heartbreaking, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But in all honesty, I was better off for it because it was necessary so I could focus on my health and other aspects of my life. Do what is best for you. It's okay. I honestly feel that it's important to prioritize your own well-being in situations like this, especially when you already have to put a lot of energy and focus on maintaining your health. Fostering a supportive environment is a key component to my happiness. Life already gives me enough stress, and I don't need negative individuals adding to it. So I surround myself with supportive people and remove anyone who behaves otherwise. It's not always easy, but maintaining a supportive environment has benefited me immensely. Well, that's it. These are the things I do to stay positive while living in a body that's constantly working against me. Yes, I do try to follow my own advice, but no, it's not possible to do so 100% of the time. There are hard days and there are sad feelings. I let those happen when needed. But there are good days and there are happy feelings, and that's what I choose to focus on. Again, I am not putting anyone down who may be struggling. Your feelings are validated. We all walk our own unique paths that no one can truly understand except ourselves, so no judgment here. But I wanted to share what helps me in the hopes that it might help someone else. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video to be beneficial, and whatever your battles may be, fellow warrior, keep moving forward.